The world is already full of animals that can ruin your day in seconds. Lions, crocodiles, great whites, even a stray hippo that wakes up angry can end you. But if you could time travel, you would probably beg to come back. Because the past did not just have predators, it had real monsters. Here are 8 deadly animals you will be very glad to know are extinct. Number 8. Sarcosuchus. Imagine a crocodile that looks at a modern saltwater croc and thinks, cute. Sarcosuchus lived in the early Cretaceous, around 130 to 112 million years ago, in what is now Africa and South America. And this was not your average river bully. The safest estimates put full-grown adults around 9 to 9.5 meters long and several tons heavy. But some skull-based estimates push it even bigger, closer to 11 or 12 meters long and roughly 8 metric tons. Either way, if it slid into your local river today, we would be evacuating the whole coastline. Its skull alone hit about 1.6 meters. And here is the wild part. About 75% of that skull was just snout, a long, narrow weapon loaded with a nightmare dental plan. Around 35 teeth per side on top and 31 per side on the bottom. Over 120 thick, spike-like teeth made for gripping prey and crushing bone. And Sarcosuchus did what crocodiles do best. It waited. It blended into the water. Then it exploded upward and grabbed anything unlucky enough to drink near the bank. Fish were on the menu, but so were dinosaurs that came too close. Basically, every watering hole was a horror movie scene. And with a jaw that big, escape was more of a concept than a strategy. Number 7. Arctotherium Angustidens. You know that feeling when you see a bear and your brain goes, do not move. Now imagine that the bear is twice the size and still hungry. That was Arctotherium Angustidens, the short-faced giant that made the Ice Age look unfair. For comparison, a grizzly tops out around 390 kilos. Arctotherium wasn't even close to that. Big males range from roughly 983 to 1,588 kilos, and when they stood up, they reached 3.4 to 4.3 meters tall. So you are not looking at a bigger bear. You are looking at a bear that makes big feel like a typo. But this is where the nightmare actually begins, because this thing was not a gentle giant. Fossils show heavy tooth wear and broken teeth, the kind you only get from crunching through bone on the regular. Stable isotope studies back that up. This bear ate a lot of meat, and not just leftovers. It likely hunted or bullied its way into meals from South America's giant herbivores: ancient horses, camelids, tapirs, glyptodonts, ground sloths. Basically, if it had a heartbeat and wandered into the wrong place, it was on the menu. So if you were human-sized in that world, you were not a rival predator. You were not even a threat. You were a protein bar that screamed. Number 6. Haast's eagle. The Maori used to warn their children about the puakai, not as a bedtime story, but as a real threat. A giant eagle that could drop out of nowhere and carry you off. And this time, the legend wasn't lying. Haast's eagle was the largest eagle ever known. Females weighed about 10 to 18 kilos, and their wings stretched close to 3 meters across. For comparison, the biggest living eagles today rarely even reach 9 kilos. So this was not a big eagle. This was an eagle that would make other eagles feel underdressed. The eagle's main prey was the moa, one of New Zealand's extinct bipedal birds. Flightless, massive, and weighing up to about 200 kilos. That is more than 10 times heavier than the eagle. Picture a modern eagle trying to hunt a horse. That is the scale we are talking about, and it did not hunt politely. Evidence suggests it attacked from behind, slammed in with massive talons, and used those claws to pin and rip through vital areas. Then, it finished the job with a powerful beak, likely tearing into organs while the prey bled out. What made it more dangerous was its feet. The claws were enormous for a bird, roughly tiger-sized in proportion, built for crushing and stabbing, not just grabbing fish. If you were a moa, that dive was basically a death sentence from the sky. Number 5. Megalania. If nature in Australia scares you today, imagine the ancient version that had Megalania, a ridiculously large monitor lizard. Scientists argue about the exact max size because the fossils are incomplete, but even the careful estimates are insane. One major revision puts the biggest adults at about 5.5 meters long and around 575 kilos. Older reconstructions push it closer to 7 meters and 600 plus kilos. So even on the low setting, you are looking at a Komodo dragon that never stopped upgrading. And the scary part is that it did not need speed to kill. Estimates suggest a top sprint around 2.6 to 3 meters per second, roughly 10 kilometers an hour. Not fast for a predator, unless the predator is the size of a small car and hiding beside the only water source for miles. This was not a chase hunter, it was a checkpoint hunter. It likely hid in scrub or near water, hit with a sudden lunge, and clamped down with curved, serrated teeth made for ripping big animals open. The Australian Museum describes it as an ambush predator and scavenger, basically a Komodo dragon built for megafauna. Then comes the unfair advantage. Modern monitors, especially Komodos, use venom to drop prey through massive bleeding and shock. A 2009 venom study suggests Megalania almost certainly had the same venom system that would make it the largest venomous animal ever. Number 4 on our list today is Utahraptor, a raptor who used to rule over Utah 135 million years ago. Utahraptor had a strange physique. Most raptors you hear about were lean, quick, and fox-sized. Utahraptor was the heavyweight cousin, about 6 meters long on average and commonly estimated around 500 kilos. On each foot, it carried a retractable sickle claw that was about 24 centimeters long. That is almost 10 inches before you even add the keratin sheath in life. So imagine a curved steak knife strapped to your toe, except the toe belongs to a 6-meter predator. Studies of its legs and body proportions suggest ambush over marathon chasing. It likely stalked close, burst in, and used that sickle claw to latch on and open wounds while its jaws went to work. Small serrated teeth did the sawing, the claw did the pinning, and the victim did the panicking. Now, what counts as prey when you are built like this? The Cedar Mountain Formation was home to big herbivores like iguanodonts and armored dinosaurs. Researchers think Utahraptor could attack animals larger than itself, which is a polite scientific way of saying it picked fights that should not have been fair and still expected to win. So yeah, tiny raptors are scary in movies, but Utahraptor was the real version. Number 3, Livyatan Melvillei. This whale was literally Moby D's unhinged cousin, except instead of singing songs and eating squid, it hunted other whales for a living. Livyatan cruised the seas off South America around 9.9 to 8.9 million years ago. And size-wise, it was a floating disaster. Estimates put it roughly 13.5 to 17.5 meters long, about the length of a city bus, and possibly around 50 plus tons in weight. But the real nightmare was its mouth. Livyatan had a skull about 3 meters long and teeth in both jaws, unlike modern sperm whales. Those teeth were not cute little pegs either. Some hit around 36 centimeters long. That is a forearm-sized biting tooth, the largest non-tusk teeth ever found in any animal, and it used them like a predator, not a collector's item. Wear patterns show the teeth sheared past each other, meaning it could bite off huge chunks of flesh and hold on to struggling prey. So what did it hunt? Not fish, not squid, whales. Medium-sized baleen whales around 7 to 10 meters long were basically its fast food. It likely also grabbed seals and other big marine animals when they wandered into the wrong water. Number 2, Mosasaurus. Here is a rule from the late Cretaceous oceans. If you heard a splash behind you, you did not turn around, because Mosasaurus was the kind of predator that made the sea feel owned. This marine lizard ruled from about 82 to 66 million years ago, and size-wise, it was ridiculous. The biggest species, Mosasaurus hoffmanni, is often estimated around 11 to 13 meters in normal adult size, but top reconstructions push the giants up toward 15 to 17 meters long. That is bus-length territory, with a head that could swallow a person like a snack. But the real horror was how it was built to eat. Mosasaurus had double-hinged jaws and a flexible skull, a bit like a snake, which meant it could open wide and gulp down prey that looked way too big to fit. It did not just bite. It unzipped the ocean and took what it wanted. And it was not picky. Fossils and stomach content evidence show Mosasaurus ate fish, huge sea turtles, ammonites, seabirds, sharks, and even other marine reptiles, including smaller Mosasaurus. It also had a second set of teeth deep in its throat called pterygoid teeth. So once prey slipped past the front teeth, the throat teeth dragged it in further. For 20 million years, Mosasaurus were the dominant marine predators. Number 1. Megalodon. So far, we have had sea dragons, whale killers, and knife-footed dinosaurs. But if there was ever one creature that earned the title, "Do not ever let this come back," it is Megalodon. Megalodon ruled the oceans from about 23 million to 3.6 million years ago. And it was not just big for a shark, it was big for reality. Most modern estimates put adults around 14 to 15 meters long, with the largest individuals possibly pushing 18 to 20 meters. Even the normal ones were longer than a city bus. But that's not it, because its mouth is a story of its own. In the jaws, we only have teeth and a few bits of cartilage. Some crowns reach around 18 centimeters tall, 7-inch serrated slabs built to grip whales and crack bone. And that jaw did not just bite, it deleted. Bite force estimates land around 108,000 to 182,000 newtons. To put that in human language, a great white is scary. Megalodon was that, multiplied into a wrecking ball. Fossil whale bones show Megalodon went straight for brutal efficiency. It likely smashed through the ribcage to hit the heart and lungs, or bit off flippers and tail sections to immobilize prey first. Basically, it did not chase its food, it dismantled it. So why did it finally disappear? Megalodon was built for warm seas and a steady supply of mid-sized whales. When that buffet changed, the megashark could not adapt fast enough. And honestly, thank goodness. Okay, that is a wrap for today's video. Those were 8 deadly predators that once ruled this planet, and I think we can all agree the world is safer without them. If you enjoyed this one, hit like and subscribe. We will be back next week with more extinct nightmares you will be glad stayed buried. But until then, go watch our series on mythical creatures. If you think these were terrifying, wait till you see the legends that might not be legends after all.